It is Friday. It is Stash Wars Live. I am Mike the Sig Slayer here, and I'm chilling with a new guest, Magic Lasso. How you doing?
Hey, Mike, thanks for having me on. It's Fry. Yay!
Exactly.
Yes.
Mundo.
I'm doing
we're about
great. So thank you for
you're
having
doing,
me
you're
on. I
doing
really
fantastic.
appreciate it.
I gotta turn this down real quick. There we go. I had another monitor on. So here we go. It's Friday. It's Friday.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about ghost variants, and that is tonight's theme, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be talking about ghost variants. Don't worry if you don't know what that means. We will be talking about that and unpacking that all tonight. But Magic Lasso, I have to say, I had Tony, the Signature King. He graced us with his royal presence last week, and toward the end of our live, he mentioned you and this grail, and he mentioned you a few times, and he urged people to visit your channel and watch this video about your grail. But before we even unpack that, Magic Lasso, let them know about your channel and what you offer there on YouTube.
Sure. I've been a comic book collector. I don't remember comic books not being in my life. So they go all the way back to as far back as I can remember, heavily influenced by the Super Friends cartoon. I do say, because it is truthful, that there isn't a Bronze Age comic book that I'm not friends with. The Bronze Age is really my wheelhouse. And on my YouTube channel, I talk about my collecting, which includes a lot of Bronze Age, Marvel, and DC. I also do other decades, including moderns as well. I'm a big Wonder Woman collector, as you probably can tell from the username. And I have a lot of really cool Wonder Woman merchandise in my collection that I'm very fortunate to have. So my channel is about my collecting journey. It's about making friends. It's about learning, laughing, and loving.
Man, that is great. And I love your vibe, man. You got a very optimistic, hopeful vibe. It's very Bronze Age DC, like just the vibe. I really dig it. And so our tonight's topic, ladies and gentlemen, is ghost variants. We're going into that. And part of your grail, Magic Lasso, has to do with tonight's theme, and it's a ghost variant. But before we even get into that, we're going to keep stringing them along, because we want to define a little bit about what's a ghost variant. So I'm going to toss it to you, Magic Lasso, and give a crack at what your definition in your mind, as far as your practices, of what a ghost variant is.
Sure. A ghost variant isn't a Casper comic book. It isn't something that goes boo. The only thing that's probably going to scare you is the price of these comic books when you try to buy them. So a ghost variant to me is a comic book, and it can even be modern. Surprisingly enough, you would think that there's no way that a modern comic book can fall in like this, but quite honestly, they do even more, because there's more ghost type variants of modern books than there are older books, because they just didn't do these gimmicks back then. A ghost book is a book that comes out that is just so incredibly hard to find for whatever reason. Could it be how it was distributed, the ways that you could obtain it? Sometimes these weren't even for sale. They were just promotional. It's all these different factors that weigh into what I consider to be a ghost variant. But overall, it's just a comic book that is incredibly tough to find. You don't see a lot of people having them in their collection. And rare, it's like rare and then bold. Bold and underlined and neoned and everything. As hard to find as you can imagine, these books are, and more sometimes.
Yes, you described it fantastically. I'm going to give my bullet points here, and there many of them you already have mentioned, right? Low print run, right? For whatever reason, not widely circulated. There's been a lot of ghost variants that came about in 2020 because of the pandemic and because of how Diamond and all of that, and DC going with Lunar. So there were some books that got lost in the cracks that ended up being ghost variants just off of that, right? Some are giveaways, as you mentioned, might be highly sought after or unknown, because there are some ghost variants that are low print books, but no one knows they exist at all. And we're going to show some examples. And as you mentioned, they are typically expensive. They're
Yes.
expensive, and some of these unknown ones, they're unknown because of one category, and we're going to talk about all of these different categories right now, right? The unknown could be because they are retailer conventions. What has happened, I would say, since 2016 is the advent of the retailer variant, when anybody and their mom can have a variant of any book. If you got $3,000, you can have your own DC cover or a Marvel cover and call it a exclusive variant or whatever. So what if no one buys those books that you invested in, right? And they're just chilling in your, closet or whatever. No one knows what they are, and then you end up selling the whole lot to a wholesaler, a retailer, and they try to, there's probably like maybe 1,000, and then they say, oh, look, this is Batman 125. It's this ghost variant of the first appearance of Failsafe. Like, no one knew it existed. It's been around for 10 years. There's going to be a lot of books pop up like that because they're manufactured scarcity, in the sense that there's any old person could have their own cover of any book at any time. You can even go back and do a vintage book from the Bronze Age. So a Magic Lasso can have the first appearance of Nubia with his own cover, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens if no one buys them or whatever? They become ghost variants, but inexpensive ones. So it's like the opposite of what we're talking about, because I believe in the future there's going to be a lot of these who cares about these books covers, because there's going to be already a bunch of different variants anyway that are known, that are coveted, that are sought after. And then there's going to be these ones that are just on eBay to infinitum. It's going to be crazy. And I'm telling you, in the next 10 years, we're going to see a bunch of these convention variants. And then there's the ratio variant, right? Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a point in time where ratio variants were sexy, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, you see those especially a lot if there's a creator change in the title too. They're trying to breathe new life into it. So a whole bunch of variants and then some ratio exclusives. I can think back to Wonder Woman Volume 4, and there is a creator change that's happening. And so they do the exact same thing, and they do a 1 in 100. But the deal with it is the book just wasn't selling. So stores were not buying 100 copies of this issue because they knew that they couldn't unload them to get the one copy of that cover. And of course, it was an amazing cover too. And that thing dropped, the week it dropped, it was selling online for higher than my rent. The week that it dropped. So it's crazy.
And then what happens with a lot of times with these variants, there's a waiting game, right? If you wait, that price to go down. There is a special book. It's special if it retains price. Better yet, even goes up.
Yes, sometimes, but not always. So it just depends on where you're at with this cover or this character that it is. So it is a game. When you said a game, that's exactly what it is. It's a game.
Yeah. And so I back in the day, like I would say, what's back in the day? I mean, I'm saying like when ratio variants were kind of in. So like the early 2000s, somewhere in there, 05, 06, all the way to 2011, maybe even 2015. Once you get to 2016, like I said, when you start doing all these retailer variants, then you have the retailer variants on top of the ratio variants, right? Mm-hmm. And in order to get these ratio variants, ladies and gentlemen, the retailer actually has to buy that many copies worth of that book. So if it's a 1 out of 100 variant, and let's say it's Batman 50, which was supposed to be a wedding between Batman and Catwoman, right? So a comic book shop buys 100 copies of Batman 50 to get that one ratio variant.
One
right?
copy of it.
One copy
of it. If you want another copy, order another 100 issues.
And what I find out, and we're gonna kind of rank these, and we're going to show versions of ratio variants. But even on an extreme end, because the most common ratios is 1 out of 10, 1 out of 25,
Sure.
1 out of 200, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about ghost variant, it has to be 1 out of 500 and up.
Yes, and those
you see what I'm saying? It has to be, and it has to be up at that level where it's not just, because 1 out of 200s and stuff like that, you can see a bunch of those on eBay at any given day. They're getting sold a dime a dozen. We're talking about books that's maybe 1 listed, maybe 2, less than 10 for sure.
Yeah.
On any given day, and we're gonna prove it tonight. But ratio variants, most of them that fall up in that 200, 1 out of 200 range, there's a shit ton of copies. So that's why the value of the book goes down, because the base level book, there's just a lot of copies. The variants are only cool when there's the general print run is kind of low. Yeah. So I realized that cover B's from like 07, 08, when the print run is low, those are sought after variants, because it wasn't like a variant frenzy back then. It was just a cover A and a cover B and maybe 50,000 copies or less. And then if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you slept. And then so like now it's very few circulating. So variant cover, I think the golden era of variants was the early 2000s. Now we have reached maximum oversaturation with variants. But even in today's climate, there are some very cool books. And we're going to show some right now. So we're going to start with examples, Magic Lasso, of retailer variants. But now we're going in the ghost variant range, which is past 1 out of 200 variants, right? Okay. And so since we're talking about ghost variant, I wanted to start with Ghost Machine. And I wanted to see if people have seen these. These are 1 out of 1,000 variants.
Oh my gosh.
By Ghost Machine. Check these out, guys. What's up, guy? That's my boy Sean. Now these right here, Magic Lasso, these are actually published sketches. Okay. So 1 out of 1,000. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that the shop had to buy, dig this, 1,000 copies of a book. In this case, on the left, the Rook Exodus, number 1, 1,000 copies. Now, if you look on the left, guys, the reason why I'm looping this right now is because many people haven't seen these, okay? These are published original art sketches. And on the left, the Rook Exodus, there's 6. So there's 6 published original art covers of Rook Exodus. So these are not convention sketches. These are published original art covers. And you have the red coat. You have red coat on the right. And this is Brian Hitch. And then you have Hyde Street. And so they did these all at different times. And so I don't know how the stores got them, because the other part about this, once I found out about these sketches, they didn't come out the day that these books were released. They kind of came out staggered.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so and then I realized too that very few stores like Mid City, I think that's the New York, the store in New York, is it? Midtown Comics. Midtown Comics had a couple of these. Third Eye Comics in Baltimore had a few, and then Coliseum of Comics. And so what they have in common, Magic Lasso, is that these stores have websites where they sell thousands of comics all over the world.
Sure.
So they'll be the main candidates to even get one of these things. And it's not just limited to Rook Exodus, Redcoat, and High Street. There's also Gary Frank sketches of Geiger. And I couldn't fit it all in this frame. But this is, very hard to come by. Mm-hmm. I believe one of these are on eBay. The one, the red coat that's on the top right corner.
Yeah.
And it's for sale for $1,000. So when we talk about ghost variants and being expensive, there you have it, $1,000. So after taxes and shipping, it's over $1,000, right? For the red coat up there. So these are these are ratio variants, okay? And so I could show you guys. I want to show you guys this. This is another site that I really like. It's called Recall Comics.
Yeah, that's a great site.
It's a great site, right? Where you can learn so much about, rarity. And I just like this scale that they have. And so when we're talking here, guys, of 1,000 copies or less, but really, we're really probably zeroing even down even more. We're talking 500 or less. Like super.
Yeah.
Yes. What's funny about that, I have that. We're going to share that. And that's definitely the sketches. And that's what the Ghost Machine sketches remind me of. They remind me of the Dark Knight Return Jim Lee. He actually did 1 out of 5,000 sketches. I actually have those slides. I don't think I uploaded in this session, but I was going to show those because I have some others. But also, I wanted to share this variant. This is not 1 out of 1,000. This is 1 out of 450. And so I wanted to show something that's kind of just below that ghost range where you can still get anything in 1 out of 500 range. You can get copies any given day. This here, it's a low print book. You got 3 Jokers.
Oh,
1 out of 400. Have you seen this?
I've never seen that. I'm familiar with the book, but I have not seen that cover.
So yeah, this is the 1 out of 450 variant of 3 Jokers, and it's not that many of them, and very few stores got it. The 3 Jokers was one of those stories that got it, even though it was a top seller. As far as getting like variants at like on a high ratio level, it was difficult for stores, especially because DC changed distribution right smack dead in the middle of this story.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this is probably the most rare of all of the 3 Joker covers. But yeah, this was, I went crazy over 3 Jokers when this came out, and I just, I had to have it. So actually my LCS, shout out to Earth 2 Comics. They hooked me up with this, and they were one of the few stores that had this. And
that's great.
And so yeah, this is a 3 Jokers issue 3 1 out of 400 variant. And then I wanted to show you guys. I actually have one of the 6 of the Rook Exodus.
Wow.
This is probably the only way I was going to be able to get a Jason Fabok, and this was way lower than the price of those red coats. But I caught on this early as well. So like early bird gets the worm, and we're going to talk about that. later on. That's going to be a reoccurring theme. Now, My Body, My Story here. You should know that Jim Lee won on a 5,000. And you 100% correct. And that's what this reminds me of, because it's the same thing. It's a published cover that Jim Lee 1 out of 5,000. Those are published. In fact, I have those. I'll pull them up. Yeah, I literally pulled every one of those, just like I pulled every one of these, like a photo of it. But this Rook Exodus here is a published cover. This is a published cover. But people don't know about it. People don't know about them, but there's only 6. And here's the other thing. Right? So for people to get stuff graded, right? This should be a blue label. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now, the Jim Lee 1 out of 5,000, that should be a blue label too, because it was already solicited that they were going to publish Jim Lee original art on those covers, and you only could get those covers from DC. So there's only however so many copies of those blanks, and he used them all for those covers. So I see those on eBay, or I saw those on eBay. They're not available now. That 1 out of 5,000, it's the 1 out of 5,000 is, you can't even find it. It's a legit ghost now.
Sure.
What up, absolutely. Black Spiders? It's a legit ghost. You can't even buy it anymore. And so, but it's green label. So when people actually bought it and slabbed it, it became green. And I'm like, how is it green when it's like, it's a published cover? So anybody that's going out, that's getting one of these Rook Exodus, and is that at the bottom graphic right here? If you have one of these Rook Exodus and you're silly enough to get it slabbed, go ahead. Do not let them put a green on there. It should be blue. It should be a regular, untainted. You bought it the way they gave it to you, and the way they gave it to you was a Fabok original. So don't try to get them to knock it down a peg, because I know some of these people discriminate with the labels. So hey, if you get a green one out there, it looks kind of sleazy to people, you know. If you have a green label, and we're gonna talk about green labels later as well. Oh my God, Jim Lee is doing a signing. Are you in New York? Are you in Midtown Comics? Is that what you're talking about? Are you coming in here to rub in the Jim Lee signing at Midtown Comics, Black Spiders? I wonder if you're going to be there, because that's the one I'm thinking about that I can't go to because I'm not in New York.
Yeah, I'm not in New York either. He's too expensive for me.
Yeah, see now
he's the new Neil Adams.
Oh, for sure. Yep. Here we go. Yep. Yankees forever. Oh my God. Had to throw that one in there. But he is the new Neil Adams. But and here we go. He'll be there. Yeah, I know this guy's gonna be there. But at these comic book shops like Midtown, there's ways around it. You get to have your collection sign a couple pieces. And if you just buy a book at cover price, he's signing for $4.99, right?
Wow.
So where are you based? What state are you in?
I was ready for him to move that decimal point over to. You know, that's what I was ready for. So
where are you broadcasting from?
I'm in Wisconsin, so there's not like a lot of.
So is that a Go Pack Go?
Yeah, very close to Go Pack Go. Yeah.
So but you are a Packer fan?
I'm not so much a sports fan, but yeah, I'll take them if they're doing well. If they're not doing well, then they make my day rough because everyone's in a bad mood.
So I'm a Packer fan. See,
awesome.
I even got the 4 Lombardi trophies in the back.
Love it.
Some Green Bay Packers.
Love it.
Lombardi trophies, baby.
Yep.
All right, but anyway, and then Black Spiders here. Bring the kids for extra signing. See, he knows what's up. That's how you do it. It's called being multiple man. You get these cheap signings, you start multiplying yourself with friends that don't care.
Yep.
And you just treat them to lunch after.
Yep.
It's perfect. Okay, so that was retailer variants, and then the other is convention variants. And I wanted to talk about conventions because, like, this is the space where a lot of retailers make their own covers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times at any old show, like you were at C2E2 with Tony the Signature King, right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure at that show there's probably at least 5 to 6 convention exclusives that's only 1,000 made or only 500 copies at this booth over here at this booth, right? So what are those? Are those rare? Are we calling those ghosts? Are we calling these highly sought after? It all depends on who makes it, right? It all depends on the hype. And you never know. Like, I remember like a couple years ago, Peach Momoko was like blazing hot. Yeah. And like anything she touched was like gold. And so like they were throwing her on convention exclusives and that was blowing up and people were fighting in lines and it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, any old body can have their own variant. And I wanted to show this next because there's let me just be quiet and just show you this. Okay, so this once upon a time.
Oh, I know what you're talking about there.
Yep. Let me go here. We're talking about ghost variants. And boom, right?
Yeah.
This was a big craze back a couple years ago, man.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you have see this guy, My Body, My Story over here. This guy, he's one of those dudes. There's a secret cabal in comics where they get everything, and everything they submit is like 9.8 or up. Like minimum 9.8, 9.6 pie is trash. Throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
If it's 9.6, it is trash. That he's one of these people right here. See?
Yep.
I'm pulling this. That's my boy. But yo, what do you know about this? You want to break this down, Magic Lasso? What do you remember about this?
I do remember the controversy about this. So essentially, it sounded like that there was a bunch of comic books that this company had that they couldn't sell. So what they did is they slapped an acetate cover over top of it with like the little flag that you see on the side and try to make it a little more patriotic and then pass it off as a brand new exclusive. And I also seem to remember there was some controversy that certain people were invited to get in line ahead of other people who were just waiting in line to purchase as many copies as they wanted before someone could even purchase one. And there was a lot of fallout about this, fallout, so to speak, as I remember.
Yes, on top of the fact that there was like multiple 9.9s in this batch and 9.8, it was ridiculous. And then we find out that it wasn't even a legit variant. It wasn't authorized by Marvel.
Yes,
this acetate edition. And then you got this 9.9 sleazy green label on it right here because of it, right? Because it is not an authentic.
Yeah, although if I remember, the original gradings of those did come back blue label, and then there was controversy about that. And then CGC, I think, changed it to it had to be green from a certain point forward. But I think there are actual blue label versions of that out.
Yeah,
that
man.
Exist.
And those are the sleaziest blue labels in recent, because people are going to look at it and be like, hey, man, it should be green. It's like, it's the only blue label that's going to get green label energy. I found so, but anyway, I brought this up is because this acetate, as you can see, was a C2E2, 11 blue labels. 11 blue labels. See what we call that? The treacherous 11. That's what we're going to call that batch. The treacherous 11. This was a convention variant, right?
Yes.
And so those 11 those 11 can be a ghost variant, and you can create a whole culture just off of those bandit, bastardized, shouldn't be blue label acetate Ultimate Fallout 4s.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous, but there are positive examples of convention variants, and I'm gonna show a couple real quick because these are ones that hold on. Yeah, I always do that when that happens. Anyway, here we go. So Batman #1 here. This is a convention variant, and I pulled this out because in honor of the Signature King, here's the Royal of Foil. Look at that. You can see yourself. It's so foily and shiny, right? And it's signed, got Jim Lee and company on there. And see, this was a free Jim Lee Sig, Magic Lasso.
Nice.
But this, so this was a convention variant, and this was a really popular one. You remember this one?
I do remember that because it's got such great Christopher Reeve vibes on it.
Yes, this is Gabriel Delato.
Yep.
Signed by Gabriel Delato. I mean, this is still a popular book. This is a Bulletproof Comics variant, and then there's a black and white version of it. But that one's not as expensive as this one. This one is like, still listing, $200 and up for this, and if it's graded, it's way more. And so, this was, I had these for a while and was lucky enough to get Gabriel Delato on there. And so there's that. And then I wanted to show an example really quick. Another example. Okay, so this is what we call a bootleg. Would you agree, Magic Lasso? These are this is bootleg,
I agree,
right?
because it's not authorized.
It's not authorized. And then there's people that did custom comics back in the day, and they would do things where they would make like blanks before blanks were like in, and they and they would make blanks and get sketches on them, and then and so. There was a circulated bunch of these Blackest Night. Look at this Blackest Night.
Oh wow!
And that's a Tim Sale sketch.
Yeah.
So the person now this is just like the acetate. The only difference is it's no secret that this is a custom comic. Okay. Not some ruse. You're trying to, pull a fast one and have all these 9.9s and all this crap and creating all this. In fact, it actually has no grade.
Yeah. Right
now, there was about maybe 5 or 6 of these that were around. I think there's a Tim Sale one. I've seen these with sketches by all-star DC artists. And they're all great sketches, and they're all actually slabbed as well, but they don't have a grade. And what's funny about it, the reason why they don't have a grade is because it was witnessed. The actual art was witnessed. So this was graded before they actually have the art grade, and so. It gets a no grade, but it gets a gold label because the actual piece itself was witnessed by one of those red vest people.
Yeah.
The CGC people. So that's why it gets a gold label. What up? Yeah. So this is Blackest Night 0, the free comic book day, but with a custom cover.
Really, what I think we're looking at right now is probably what led to the creation of blank sketch covers by the companies.
Exactly. This was that era. This is what made DC want to do it. And I literally remember when they started with the Justice League #1 blank and then the We Can Be Heroes blanks and all of that stuff that happened just when maybe like a year into the New 52. this here, I was like, oh my God, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
I was in love. I'm talking about years ago. Like I remember when the set was floating around in eBay. Now you can't find these anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to show that because your boy is also one of those people that have one of those as well.
Nice.
And so this is one of these ghost variants here, right? And this is signed by Jeff Johns, Yvonne Reese, and this is Doug Mankey. A sketch by Doug Mankey. You see what I'm saying? So like this had Doug Mankey. Yeah. Like who's gonna not want this? Yeah. Right? Like it's a sketch by Doug Mankey. And just to show you guys that when I say what I mean, I said I hate slabs, but I love my comics in acrylic. Here you go. This one's in acrylic, right?
Love it.
All right. And I liberated it from the slab, guys. So nice. here's the no grade. There you go. It's right there. The no grade. The actual sketch was witnessed, but it couldn't get a actual number grade because this is not an authentic cover. But this is one of the coolest things. And then I gotta show you guys this. Let me see if this will work. Just to show you guys something cool. Let me put my phone on real quick. There we go. Got my.
Oh, I know what you're doing. That's
really dude, cool I love. Too. Yeah, dude. But I want to show you guys the damn. Yeah, it does it. There we go. There we go. Just signing a knockoff. Blackest Night. Or I can say that's actually the rare.
That's so cool.
Just signing a knockoff. Blackest Night.
There you go.
So he said it's the rarest Blackest Night. Yeah. So I got him on this saying that it's the rarest Blackest Night here. So he said 1 out of 10,000.
Wow.
That's from Jeff Johns himself. So those were pretty much the examples, some examples of the different types of ghost variants. People don't even know, but they haven't even seen these. But I'm telling you, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, these were floating around, and it was different artists on these, and they were all slabbed. There was like a set that was slabbed. Let me just make sure I don't have any more slides in there. Okay, so I was talking about that now. So now we're going to talk about giveaways, right? So we talked about the difference between a bootleg kind of ghost variant, and these now are kind of shunned. Like they don't even sell them anymore because people, it's kind of sleazy, right? Mm-hmm. Even people are selling them aftermarket, but you can't get them directly from the peeps anymore, right? So difference between a bootleg comic and a custom comic, one gets discontinued, and the other inspires the blank revolution, right? Like so, like it's comics like these that inspired blanks that we have today. So that's that. Okay, and now the final, we talked about ratio variants, right? So ratio variants we talked about, which are these, and then these are extreme ratio variants. These are 1 out of 1,000. Okay. So these are extreme ghost machine ghost variants here, right? So we got ratio variants. Now we got convention variants right here. And these are bootleg convention variants. And then I showed you a Jim Lee. That's not a bootleg convention variant. Mm-hmm. And then now we're going to talk about the creme de la creme, the most sought after ghost variants, which are giveaways. And we're gonna start off because I know we're both DC guys.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start off with the Marvel and the Marvel Ghost variants.
Oh, I remember that.
You
Yeah.
remember this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the Marvel Comics 1000. I hated that they did the whole 1000. They did that just to, bite off of DC. But nonetheless, this is Marvel 1000. But this is the D23 variant. The only way you could get this is if you were actually at that D23. And I believe this one was in Anaheim that year.
Yeah.
Because I remember my homie had like 2 of them. So the one on the left, that's the one everyone knows about, and that's still a Ghost variant. That's $400, and I would say, hey, it gotta be at least $300 and up to be in the category of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the 9.8 on the left is about the average price. It's about $400 for this special variant. But then, now this is from Bleeding Cool, okay? They said that the one on the right, there's like dozens of these, okay? And they were given out at the same D23, but like to like Uber fans that like camped out or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where the Jeff John video? Okay, that Jeff John's video, he's talking about this. Oh, you know what? I don't have it here. I actually, that it's in the shorts though on the YouTube channel. It's on the channel, so I do have that because that video is actually in the shorts. But where is that signing? Damn, in Rancho Cucamonga, California. That's where. It's like, you left your wallet in El Segundo. I got my comic signed in Rancho Cucamonga. So like that's what happened there, DeClaw, man. That was great. And shout out, that's 4-Color Fantasies Comics. So thank you for letting me shout them out. Stores got the color ones. Okay, yeah, stores got the color ones. Yeah, so it was the color one was distributed more, but people at that D23 got them first. Because I remember the day my friend got them and he was like, yo, and he was already trying to flip them like immediately. And he, super Disney guy. But yeah. So these are examples right here of you have to be somewhere in order to get it. And if you weren't there, there's no other way to get them unless somebody is willing to sell. And that is the meat of tonight's discussion here. Is how much are you willing to pay, and how did the market dictate the prices on some of these giveaway books that had no price originally on them?
Oh, that's interesting.
So like, boom. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? This dude's Illuminati. He knows all the answers.
Yeah.
So you have to ask a question. But here's the thing about the black and white one, right? You can't buy that one. It's not available to purchase.
Yes.
The one on the left, you can buy a few of them. But the one on the right, it's so ghosty that you can't buy it. And that, to me, is the epitome of the things when it's highly sought after and it's not available on the market at all. Anybody can get a Spawn #1. Anybody can get an Amazing Spider-Man 300. You can get that right now. Like hotcakes. Only people who want Disney knows. DC got some RP books, yes, and we're going to talk about that too. So yeah, the RP books, and look at this, the clause right there, the big daddy of them all on the right corner, the Batman 608 RRP, and that to me is the original Ghost variant that I wanted, and I still don't have,
Mhm.
and it's going to escape me because it's like it's way up there. It's like it's an ungodly amount of money for a comic. Whereas like I wanted it, but I was like I couldn't get it. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. So I had to make peace with it. I had to say bye bye. And but the Batman 608 RRP is still the grail. Like it's still there, right there. Even though I got some things that could, might compete with it, it still ain't it. Okay, so here we go. Goes Rams like I see. Here we go. Here we're going with it. So let's just let the cat out the bag right here,
Okay.
Magic Lasso, and let's talk about the big daddies, the big dogs. And the first one here, speaking of which, here we go. This is the first major giveaway besides the Batman 608 RRP. These are giveaways. Right? And this right here is probably the most rare one. 9.8 with all 5 people. You got a Jim Lee. This is the Super Saiyan God one right here. So I actually keep this on my StreamYard, and it's funny. Who's this belong to? I'm not gonna put him on the spot, but he's in the chat right now. The person that this belonged to.
That's beautiful.
Am I giving my copy away tonight?
Look at that Joker.
You funny, man. These guys right here are the ball buster extraordinaires. This is the creme de la creme. One we're headed 9.8, and then we also have these two.
Oh my gosh.
We have the Wonder Woman, Agent of Peace, by the great Jenny Friesen, and then we have the Green Lantern, Global Guardian, Special Edition. And these are extremely rare books. There's only one available right now for sale, and it's listed at $1,000. I'm talking about the Wonder Woman book. Okay. You had to.
I know one sold for $1,300 last month.
Okay, so all right, so Magic Lasso, since you're the guru on this, explain what you had to do in order to get the Agent of Peace Wonder Woman.
Sure. So Agent of Peace was when they unveiled Wonder Woman statue, which is right in front of where you take the Burbank studio tour of Warner Brothers. When they unveiled this statue, they gave a couple copies away that day. From what I heard initially, they only gave like a small handful of copies away to folks. And I mean, not everyone that was even there for it got one. I heard like maybe 5 people got them. And then they were giving some away on the Burbank Instagram page. 5 copies away at a time by one of those use a hashtag and tag a friend type situations. And that's been so far the only way that you've been able to get a copy. I got a little bit more information about this book.
Okay.
That came directly from Jenny Friesen and her husband, Steve. And they said that most of the copies of this book, which is an incredible... I wonder if My Body Story knows the answer to this. How many copies were printed? I think it's between like 25 and 50, but more so towards the 25 side than the 50. But
you think they only printed 25? I think they printed like at least 1,000.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. I definitely think it's 50 or under. That's definitely the impression I got. And they said that most of them came damaged, and Burbank never did another order. Now, there's some 9/8s out there available on this Burbank Wonder Woman, but most of them aren't. And the initial giveaway that they did, they didn't ship them in Gemini mailers, so the post office damaged all 5 copies that initially.
Yeah, they ship them in envelopes, regular envelopes, not even
regular,
boarded, dude.
Like
it's horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how they sent them out. So of course the post office damaged them. I really think it's 50 or under. Seriously believe that.
I'm sorry, my body story, dude. My man just said somebody just bought it for over $1,000 recently, right? Magic Lasso?
Yeah, $1,300 in July. And that was an unsigned raw copy. This book and these books are, I mean, if you contacted Warner Brothers, you can send them the nicest email, I know from experience, and they will savagely cut you back when they write you back and tell you you're not getting one from them.
Bruh. That's crazy. So okay, so my body story. So he's saying these agents of peace are flowing like water. Hold on, Magic Lasso. Let me get you blown up real quick, my man. Let me get you blown up, and then I want you to talk about the story, man. I got you right here. There we go. Boom. This floor is yours.
So here it is. And I lost a lot of sleep over wondering how this comic book was going to come into my collection. And essentially, it all came because this came out a few years ago. You know, I just obtained my copy at C2E2 this year. So back in April. This book's been out a couple years, 2 years. And I went to C2E2 with my number 2 mission to be, because I've met Jenny Frison before and I've met her husband Steve before, very nice people. I knew that she was very approachable. My second goal of going to C2E2 was to beg her to help me find this book, because I didn't have the budget to spend $1,000 on it, $1,000+ on it. I just didn't have the budget. And that was my entire plan. I went to the last day of C2E2 and she was scheduled for a noon signing, and I was in line by 11:30. And when I saw somebody who was up in line ahead of time that I knew, but I had never met in person. So I went up to talk to them. And as I was talking to them, I saw this book laying on her table. And instantly, I'm like, oh my God, it's the book. And the person I was talking to, Cheddar Comics, by the way, shout out to Cheddar. I said, look at that Wonder Woman. He goes, oh yeah, that's this really expensive Wonder Woman. And I knew instantly what it was. So, you know, I kind of played it cool a little bit. I went over, I said, hey, how much is the Wonder Woman? And he quoted me a price. I'm like, okay. And I just kind of, you know, backed off a little bit. And I went back and talked to my friends, including Signature King. And everyone, even my friend that I went down with, who I fully expected to tell me no, he's like, no, you need to do it. Everyone was like, yes. So I got it. And when I went back, the most excellent thing happened. And this makes me respect Steve, Jenny's husband, so much, because I laid down the credit card. I said, let's go, let's take it. You know, yeah, it's like I'm picking up a napkin or something. And he's like, well, wait a minute. And I'm like, okay. He's like, it's not mint, and I want you to know what you're getting before you pay for it. And we looked through it together. We pointed out the areas that we thought had the biggest flaws on them. And he said the price is negotiable. I made an offer. He instantly accepted it. And at that point, I do this motion in my video, and I do this motion a lot when I talk about it, but this is how I was feeling. Like everything was spinning around me. Like it didn't feel like real life. And to make a long story short, the book comes back a 9.2, but what it has that no one else has from the personal collection of Jenny Frison.
There we go. From the dude, this is fantastic, man. And show them and all the. And I'm glad that you got about the glare game, and you getting the right angles. I love that.
Yeah, we got it signed here by her. I love that the signature almost looks like it's part of the art.
Right.
So I love that. I got a heck of a deal for this book. And what really gets me, and this is a little jab to Signature King, okay?
Okay.
Signature King went in the Jenny Frison line the day before. He goes, oh, I saw that book out there yesterday. And I'm like, how did you not tell me that the book I've been losing sleep over is there? So, Mike, stop and think about this. This book went through all of C2E2. It was the last copy she had. It went through all of C2E2. No one bought it until I got there. You think this thing was waiting for me?
It was, dude.
And I was smart enough to realize this is my one chance.
Man, dude, congratulations, man. I wanted to bring you here to formally tell you this, man. I love the story. You made it happen, you know. And you got your girl. That was your number one. We got Curgraded here, man. And this dude, this dude has more of these Burbanks than anybody on the planet. And we got to hear his story right now. So we about to let Kira's story, Curgraded in. Boom.
I'll also say that if you I'll say really quickly too that if you want more detailed story of everything that went through, I have a video on my channel that Mike was talking about, so you can find that on my channel.
Yep, and I'm gonna put a link to that story in the description to this live because like it definitely inspired me. That's why I saw that video and I immediately wanted to invite you here on Stats Wars Live to talk about it. Man, so thank you. We're going to talk about it more. There's a lot more we're going to discuss. And a part of this discussion, we have Curgraded here, man. What's up, dog?
Hey.
Good, man. How's it going?
Man, it's fantastic, man. It's a great Friday here. Stash Wars Live. We're talking about ghost variants. We're talking about these Burbanks, dog. And, like, you are the Burbank king. Tell us about, like, just how you know.
How did this happen?
Like, what's your sauce, man?
Yeah.
There's no crazy story. There's no personal to it. You're all aware that their Instagram gives away these giveaways for these books, and so I honestly I'm just lucky. I know before they had implemented the only one account gets to win any of the giveaways. Before that was implemented, I got lucky twice, and the other times. You know, they do post who wins them. If you reach out to them and you offer a decent price, most people are willing to take it because they get it for free and you're offering some amount that they're not even expecting. And I think some of the winners, they're not even that big a fan, but they got lucky. And so combination of luck, which I feel like I have a lot in this world, in terms of collecting, that is. And then also just like persistence and reaching out to people who did win them. So that's really it. I have a few copies. I'm
about to show them right now, man. I'm showing them right now. So get ready. Buckle your seatbelts. Here we go. Here's the first one. Ta-da!
Wow.
Hold on 1 second. Put this banner off. There it is. Okay, so man, tell us, man. You are an expert seller, man. And you are probably, I don't know if it's 4-star general or 5-star general in the CGC Illuminati. And I just want to know, like, what's your secret? How you getting these crispy ass books?
So I'll just start off by saying what's on the screen at 50,000. Don't send me eBay messages saying like you don't know what you're doing, you're crazy, or you're on some sort of drugs. It's best offer, everyone. So don't think of the 50,000 as like this guy's trying to rip people off. If that's not the case. So on to your question about how I get them to 9.8. Well, I have a few presses. I press a lot of my own books, and I just know what CGC is looking for, and I know how to manipulate the book. Not manipulate in a bad way, but restore the books in a way that increases the probability of hitting those 9.8s. And also just a bit of luck as well. Like I've also sent back bad Burbank books back to Burbank saying they didn't protect it properly, they damaged it, and then what happens is someone will make an effort to send you a better copy. So
you've gotten replacements?
See, I've heard people didn't.
Yeah, so if you talk to them, it probably depends on who you get on the other line. But I was able to have someone on email, but also on Instagram Like it depends on who you get. Some may escalate it and try to get you a different copy. But I certainly got a different copy. Particularly, it was the one of the Batmans and one and the Green Lantern one.
Wow.
And so the GL one, did you win that or did you hit up the winner?
No, that one. I had a friend who I asked to submit for me, and so am I lucky in kind of getting that friend also to? Yeah, I think there's a little bit of luck there too.
Hey, but you know what it is though, man, and you know I'm just fucking with you all the time. You know, we always bust each other's balls. What it is also it's what you're interested in and what you go for, right? Like Magic Lasso, he went hard for that the Wonder Woman Agent of Peace. He didn't get it the way that the 5 winners got it from City of Burbank IG. He actually got it directly from Jenny. And so and him being like one of the biggest Wonder Woman fans in the universe, it's kind of like that's the seminal moment that kind of ties it all together. You, on the other hand, you're a surgeon with these damn presses, man. I mean, dude, your X-Men collection is unfuckwittable. And then dude, on the screen they're seeing 9.8, 9.6, and 2 9.6s, and these dudes were ragdolling these books, man. They did not put them in any bag and board. They was in straight envelope. That's it, bro. That's it. No, not even a piece of cardboard. So all of them, I mean, any ones that came back. Okay, Curgraded, how many 9.8s of these are in the census?
Last time I checked, there was about 20 or so. Maybe no, closer probably to 30, I think, including the signature.
39.8 of the Batman Burbank?
Yeah, fact check me on that. I think
Okay.
so.
Because it's about what, like 50 something total, right? In it.
I believe something like that.
Yeah, it's less than a.
Sorry, did you say 9.8? Or were you asking
9.8.
about it? Oh yeah, I'm not too sure. Probably closer to 20.
Yeah, it's a low number. It's definitely a low number. So you're saying these prices are extremely fluid.
Yeah, like I was able to sell one 9.6 at 4K, but I know some have sold for a little bit less than that. So it really depends. Yeah, it depends on the condition. I think there are a few out there that might be raw.
I mean, but they're hard to find raw, man, because like
Yeah.
who's giving them up? Like it's hard, like, because it's all about timing too. You were lucky enough to like hit them like right when they won, and then it was like, oh, right when they got the euphoria that they won, here's some dude trying to give them a wad of money. Like, yeah.
But the thing is, I tried that same tactics for that Wonder Woman, and I failed every way that he succeeded. So it's interesting to see. I even contacted someone that had 2 of the Wonder Woman ones. I only wanted one, made an offer, and they said, no way. They just said, no way, I'm not giving it up to anyone.
So
There was a copy at San Diego Comic-Con.
Say that again?
There was a copy available at San Diego Comic-Con. I believe it was the writer that was selling it.
Okay, so all right, so these ones for sale, are these the ones for sale? Or do you have your own personal copy, or do you not care? You just you just have them, you enjoy them while you have them, and then when they're gone, they're gone.
When they're gone, they're gone.
There we go. I see how that is, man. Okay, all right. So the other one here, my friend, and here's the other segue. Talk about the Six Flags Dark Knight. How'd you find out about that?
Yeah, that was a ghost. Out of all these Burbanks, I think that one only pops up once in a while. I believe there's one online, other than the one I have. I believe there is
and
one.
It's listed for $1,000 right now.
Yeah, I believe so. How did I come across mine? You know,
how did you find out about them, that they existed?
I think I saw it on Reddit somewhere. And I think I saw it on Reddit somewhere, and I became obsessed with it. And then I wanted, if you're really good with eBay, you can save your searches and you can, use quotes. And
so you ain't gonna tell everybody you saw mine first, because you asked me how I got mine.
Yeah, did you get yours? I can't remember. How
Yeah,
did you get yours?
man. Out of everybody that we know, I was the first one to get it.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that.
Yes, the first one to get it. I was the first one to get it signed. Yeah, dude, because it's Six Flags, right? So
Right.
Six Flags, that's in Valencia, California. So there was a comic book shop. Shout out to Cruising Through Comics out there. And I want to say Santa Clarita, which is right by Valencia, California. This dude hit me up on IG and was like, "Yo, have you seen this book?" And I was like, "I seen that image. That was on a cover of a like a guide to like WonderCon or Comic Con or something like that." So I saw it before, but I was like, "No, I never seen it." I was like, "How much?" I was like, "Dude, just give it to me." I was like, "Just sell it to me," right? And he was like, "Nah, I don't want to sell it." He was like, "I don't want to sell it yet until I like find out I can get a price on it." And his fool could never get a price on it. And so like almost like a year later, so I'm talking about this is like 2022. So like beginning of 2022, he told me about it. He didn't sell it to me until the beginning of 2023. And he was like, "Look," he was like, "I can't get a price on it, dude." And he was like, "Here." He was like, "How much?" And he was like, "How much?" I'll do it. I was like, "I'll buy it for like $60." So I got mine for $60.
Wow.
And now it's, it's way more, the Dark Knight is way more rare than all of them.
Yeah, they are. It is more rare. At least graded ones are more rare. I'm not too sure I've seen any solid sales on them, so I don't know if there's any strong data point in terms of what a fair market value is for that.
So you haven't sold yours yet?
Oh, good question. I did sell a 9.4. So after I found two on eBay, I graded one, and one came back in 9.4. So I did sell that 9.4 for I think around 400 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. And like if you caught on them, if you got on them, like I said, around early 2023, maybe even 2024, you could have caught it, catch it for under $100. See, he got
That's
two
right.
for 40. See, you know, but this dude right here he's from the Illuminati. That's what he don't say. He's like the Loki of the Illuminati. He's just everywhere, so he knows. I got mine for 2 and they got 2 for 40. You know what I'm saying? How we get 2? How we get 2 for 40? Let alone 2, right?
Yeah.
Like, so he knows somebody. So somebody had a whole box of them. That was his homeboy. And when he was like, "Yo, man, you want one?" Yeah, cool. See, that's how it happens. And now some dude is slanging it for 1,000. But here's the thing. So you're saying Curgraded, that sale was what? How long ago was that sale?
It must have been 2020, 2021 probably.
So yeah, that was a while ago. So shit, 2021. Yeah, yeah. So that was good, man. And so yeah, man, you can't even find that. And I think there's less than 20 of them in the CGC census at least. So yeah, and then
I believe it.
okay, what about the Wonder Woman? So like uh the Wonder Woman, the Green Lantern, um we got My Body Story, and then he's saying that you can get them. But here's the thing about it though, not everybody is everywhere.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like, yeah, such and such had it available at this show and that show. Not everybody is connected to be able to just get crap, and so it is hard. Like, we're lucky, and you mentioned that you're lucky, Curgraded. Yeah, you are lucky when you know people, but that's a part of being in the game and being in the the whole community. But the luck comes in, when that person can help you, right? Because it's not all the time somebody could help you, even if they know the hookup or whatever. They can't hook you up, right? But because sometimes they can only hook themselves up, right? But on this particular situation here, not everyone could be available to, okay, this show in Baltimore or this show in Chicago or this show in Anaheim, California, whatever. Well, such and such has this one book, right? But okay, here's my question, right? Because Magic Lasso, Space Case, what up? Magic Lasso, you said that you think that there's less than 50.
I think
right?
50 or less, yeah.
Okay, so my body story, I need to know in the chat right now. And Curgraded, you go ahead and answer it right away. How many copies of all of these you think they printed? So of the Burbank Batman, how many think they printed? Of the Wonder Woman and the Green Lantern, how much you think they printed? What's your guesstimate?
Let's start with the Batman one. I've heard insider information that there's about 500.
See?
But I've also heard follow up where, you know, it was closer to 250 based off of, I don't know,
That's
maybe.
still a lot. But that's still that's still Ghost variant territory. That's a low print. 250 copies is low as hell.
Yeah, definitely. And like if you base it off of how many people have won it through the Instagram, I think it's only like a handful, maybe 20 or so.
Yeah, so for with Wonder Woman, they've done, I think, 3 different giveaways of 5 copies each time.
Right.
So that's only 15 there. When you start looking at what's graded, and sure, there's definitely some out there that aren't graded, you know, that accounts for most of the ones that are graded at some grade. So I know that Jenny Fristen's husband said that they had a difficult time even getting an extra copy for themselves of the Wonder Woman.
Really?
That's what he told me.
So that's okay. Here's my thing, right? Anybody that has to print something, right, knows that it's way more expensive the fewer copies, right?
Yeah.
So odds are you're gonna, just off the rip, this is a big company that I just automatically assume, even if it's rare, they're gonna print in the quantities of hundreds, right? Not even 100. Like 100 to me is too low, because it's like, because think about it, most of the books that are out there were comps. Like when you talk to like Allison Clare or Scott Williams, they be having like five copies of these books, right? The people that are a part of the book itself, right? They get their comps. You mentioned Jenny Friesen getting more copies, but I'm pretty sure she got more than 2. Like initially,
yeah, I'm sure she did. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, so the majority of the copies did go to the Oh, Jenny had the first graded one. He's saying. So this dude right here that's on the screen, this dude knows everybody, dude. He knows everybody. He has, he has Cerebro. He has the nanotech version of Cerebro in his tattoos. So like that's how and it feeds him all this information while he sleeps, while he's awake. It's quite fascinating. There should be a comic about this guy at some point. He knows everything. But yeah, Jenny had the first one. I believe that there's hundreds of them. I believe that Burbank, the city of Burbank, is still sitting on ungiven away copies still. But Curgraded, when's the last time they had a giveaway on the Batman?
I thought it was around Batman Day last year, maybe, or like Halloween. I think they had 1 or 2 last year.
So they did do one. Yeah, did do one last year. Okay, so yeah, man. And then the Green Lantern one, like I wasn't in the runnings for any one of these other than the Batman one. The Batman one because so I'm a Batman fan and I'm from the 818. I'm from Burbank. So like of all the people that should get one of these, I felt it was like my birthright to get one. So it was but then when I was seeing the prices on it, it was insane. And I mean, for a while it still is more expensive than the Batman RRP. And so my last question, Curgraded, because you know your Jim Lee stuff, okay, where would you rank all of the Jim Lee Ghost variants? Okay, so you have the Legends of the Dark Knight 41 Six Flags. You have the RRP, a Burbank 608. You have the DK3 1 out of 5,000 sketch, right? And then you have the Burbank 608. How do you rank those?
Yeah, this is hard, but I'd rank the Burbank one just because I own a copy. I don't have the RRP. I don't love the cover of the RRP, but I know it's had staying power because it's been out for 20 years and it's been on the auction block and it has demonstrated or clear data points. So I think a lot will probably favor that more, but my personal would be the Burbank 608 RRP. The sketch one, like their sketches they're not rare necessarily, but you can get a sketch, you can get the Bucks sketches, and like it looks more or less the same. So I don't rank it that much higher any of the other books, but that's just my personal take.
So you got the Burbank. So Burbank 1, what's 2?
RRP.
So RRP, and then where do you rank that DK3, the one with the Jim Lee sketch?
I rank that. Oh, so I didn't cover the Dark Knight one, right? The Six Flag. I'd put Six Flag actually number 2, RRP number 3, and then the sketch.
Oh, so sketch last. I agree with you because here's the man. I agree with you. Why do you put the sketch last?
Yeah, like I have a bunch of Jim sketches and a few pages now, and so the sketch doesn't appeal that much to me. And I think, yeah, and the sketch, they're okay.
Yeah, so, but I kind of agree with you. Well, for me, I still got the RRP number 1 because that's like literally like the first printing of Hush,
Fair.
And so I don't have it, so I still kind of want it, but I don't want to pay for it. But so I put right under that. I put the Dark Knight second because it's the most rare, and then the Burbank, and then I got the DK3 last, man. But hey, Curgraded, bro, this was fantastic, man.
Yeah, I just got info.
I gotta show these again, man. These prices are fluid, man. Hit your boy up. Hit your boy up, man. Make a deal. He's willing and dealing, and he has a bunch of cool 9.8s on X-Men, all kind of stuff, man. So if you're a Jim Lee fan, check out Curgraded site, man. It's on eBay. It's dope. But like he said, man, all of these are best offers, so don't think he's trying to scam. He's saying, holla at your boy. He's making a deal. He's letting you know that he means business, and these are big boy books, man. So holla at him, man. But hey, Curgraded, man, thank you so much, man, and I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
It's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, cheers.
Dope, man. That was cool, man.
Yeah.
That was mad cool. Okay, so we're here, man, because I want us to talk more about the rare variants and actually show examples from our own collection.
Let me ask you a question first, because I think this is a very fair question, and it's a flip side of the coin. Should these books, like the Burbank book, be available in other ways? Aren't comic books for everyone, not just the people who can afford them?
So you're saying it should be more accessible?
Shouldn't there be somehow that are more accessible, even if 100 were given the chance to be purchased? Say that money went to a Burbank charity.
Yeah. Okay. So if so, you're saying it for the right price. So
I mean,
because
this is talk in general, but this is my frustration, because it feels like the people that win the Burbank books are the people that just, that's cool that I won, I can make some money off of it. Where the diehard fans, the ones like me who lost sleep over the book many times, I tried all those same tactics. It got me nowhere.
Man, I lose a lot, but I'll tell you this, man. Cats like Curgraded and My Body Story, those dudes, it's once you know what you have to do, I think that's what it is. There's a certain level of how much you have to spam that crap to win.
Trust me, I've done it.
Okay.
I kid you not. I was to the point where I couldn't post anymore because of putting so much into it. So, okay, let's go back to the main question.
Okay.
Should these covers these books be available for a chance at everyone to get them, not just luck?
And this is where I'm gonna have to agree with My Body Story here.
Mm-hmm.
It's the part of the game. It's like, do I want everybody to have the same shit I have? No. Do I want everybody to have like what I have? No, because then it will make it less cool. Because there has to be some uniqueness. Do systems get abused? Absolutely, with factionism and all that, right? So like it happens. People hook up people. That's all a part of the game.
But this wasn't fun for me, and comic books should be fun.
Yeah. You know what I say? It's because there's always stuff. Okay, so like people they feel this way about signatures. Exactly the way you feel about signatures. How signatures shouldn't be expensive, or you shouldn't charge for them at all. And they tell us about yesteryear and all that. And I remember the yesteryear.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my collection was from yesteryear, but the game changes. And here's why this channel, why we have Stash Wars Live every Friday. Because there's anything that I want people to understand is that as the game changes, you have to change, but you don't give up. You still, there's another level. There's another level. That's all I have to say. There's you the game terraforms around you, and then you terraform around the game, and it's just the ebb and flow. It's like I've been doing this for 20 years. This is my 20th year Sig Slaying. This summer marks 20 years I've been doing this. And I can tell you all the hula hoops, all the BSs. I never win no wristbands. I don't win no raffles. None of that. I've won 2. Mm-hmm. And one of them I'm going to show tonight. But when there's a will, there's a way. And I'm going to say this, Magic Lasso. You feel the way you feel, but I'm gonna tell you this: you also feel hella good once you got your agent piece, and it's because of what you had to do.
And if you look on all the gradings for this book, this is the lowest one. At least the last time I checked, about a month ago. A 9.2 is the lowest one between CGC and at this point, this was the only CBCS one. But no one else's, to my knowledge, on maybe Jenny Fresens herself says it's from her collection. I don't know that for sure, but I do have one that does say that it came from her collection, and that makes up for that too.
And that's the whole thing. You have a story about it.
The story is amazing. The story is about friends, old and new. The story is about a book that I never thought I'd have, which caused sadness in the past. And I didn't expect it to be there, because I've had people go to Jenny Frissen's appearances at other cons on my behalf. And it wasn't at those cons, but that day when I was there, it was literally waiting for me.
And it's in your hands, man. Now, okay. So right now, so is there any other things you would like to share from your collection right now?
Yeah, I did bring a few things. I didn't bring a lot,
yes,
but I did bring a few things for you.
The floor is yours.
Yeah. So this is a book that I pulled because if you can find this on eBay, a few copies. Get your credit card ready. The steampunk variant of Wonder Woman 28. So this is another great example of a comic book that they weren't ordering a lot of copies at the time, let alone stores weren't ordering enough to get an incentive for it. I think it was a 1 in 25, if I'm remembering correctly. It said J.G. Jones. And for whatever reason, this thing has just blown up and taken off. So I was lucky. I paid $8 for it when the week it came out. So, and I just wanted it because it was part of my collection. It's just something that I needed. So, that's one thing I wanted to show. And the other thing that I showed is a little bit multi-part, but I really am happy to get to show this to you because it talks about some things that we did talk about tonight. There are die-hard Super Wonder Woman collectors that don't have what I'm about to show you.
Okay.
Argentina printed their own bootleg Wonder Woman comic books around the time that the Linda Carter TV show was going on. These are printed black and white with red tones on them. Inside, they're brand new original stories that were created for this comic book. To even find reprints and bootlegged reprints of this comic book, it goes high. This is an original.
Wow.
Absolute original from the 1970s.
How did you find out about that?
I've known about this for forever. How did I get it?
Oh, so this is something that's known in the Wonder Woman fan community.
Some know about it. It's, you know, I talked to Metarog, and I think a lot of people in the comic book community know who Metarog is. Very intelligent man on the topic of comic books. He told me he had only seen one of these in his life. One copy of one issue in his life, and it was back in the early 1980s.
Oh, snap.
So
this is known. Okay, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And those look like they're in good shape, man. The camera's picking them up. They look
absolutely.
The color on it looks good.
So how did I get these? I have a fantastic friend in Brazil that's a Wonder Woman collector as well. We've been fortunate enough to hang out in person twice. And last time we hung out in person, he came to my home and I hosted him and we just hung out for a few days. And at his last night, he gifted all 4 of these books to me. And there's a video on my channel actually of him giving me these books. And I'm like, I mean, I'm shocked because even if, like I said, to find a reprint of this is so super rare. And I say, well, this is a reprint, right? And he says, no, it's original. And that kind of like stopped me in my tracks. And then I'm like, you have a copy for yourself, right? And he's like, these were my copies. And when he said that, I literally felt my throat tighten up and I couldn't speak. Because this is someone who couldn't replace these. And he could have given these to anybody. And he knows a lot of Wonder Woman collectors. But he gave them to me.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So that's a recent addition?
Yeah, about a year ago. All 4 of these came into my possession. And you have no idea, Mike, how hard these are to obtain. To even get one of them is so hard. You know, maybe to get a bootleg reprint, and they're not in English, you just have no idea.
Nah, man, I don't, man. That's crazy. They look like they're in great shape, though.
They are. They definitely are. I do know that there is somebody that is trying to do a project of making a collection of them and showing them in their original form and then showing them again, but translated into English. And this person can't even find people who have... He can't find enough people who have all the issues. There was 13 issues produced total. And I have 4 of the 13.
So like,
I wouldn't have it without my friend. I had no idea that would come into my life. And as cool as the books are, that moment is more special to me than the books.
Yeah, but man, what's crazy about it to me, because like the topic is variant covers. You actually have a variant title of Wonder Woman, so it's not even related with DC during that time. They created their own joint because they were such big fans of Wonder Woman during that time. So that's crazy. And they circulated them. That's crazy. And they look like they're in fantastic shape. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, it was just those that I pulled for now, but you never know what you might find on my channel. And incidentally, I'm on the road to 1K. I'm less than 50 subscribers away. So come join my comic book journey on my channel and subscribe.
Yes, definitely. That link is already in the description to this live. So definitely sub up if you haven't already to the Magic Lasso and the Sig Slayer station. If you happen to just be joining us for the first time tonight, I'm about to unleash right now as well. All right, here we go. We talked about that. Oh, duh. Here it is. This is what I did. I was like, dude, I had it pulled up. This is what my body story was talking about. This is that other Jim Lee right here. And this is a blank, right? The 1 out of 5,000. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then here are all the images that he's drawn. Here are all the images that he's drawn. So these are all think about this. This is 1 out of 5,000. Mm-hmm. But look how many images he did.
What do you do if you're a completist?
I mean, you can't get these, dude.
Unless you're a mogul. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can't there's a comment here. Where is it? It's a part of the game. Where is it? Comic books are fun. There are millions of comics, can't have everything. So it's like people that are completionists, it's an art, but it can be insanity. It's a thin line. These are 1 out of 1,000. And this is 5,000. These are Jim Lee, so these were over $1,000 a piece,
sure,
or maybe even $2,000. So I mean, it's a lot. But my thing that I think about with this is how many copies of DK3 #1 there are with all these motherfucking sketches he did. This is a lot. Put it this way, let's show you right now. So we're here. So this here. There's less copies of these than those sketches. So let's start there with this. So I'm gonna start a stats war with this. So this was the first signed copy. I don't care what anybody say, man. I got the Jim Lee footage right here, actually. Let's start there. To show y'all what's really popping. So boom, this is the day it happened. That's the first one to get signed. The first or second one. There could have been somebody before me in this line. But this is the second Torpedo Con in Glendale, California. That's Jim Lee. And guess what? See that little bat thing?
Yep.
That's hard to get. That's hard to obtain. Okay? He don't just do that for everybody.
That's amazing.
You got to put them on a spot or have somebody really young do it for you, baby. Because that's what happened. That's what happened here. And so, yeah, so there's less of these than this here, than these that you see below. Because there's a shit ton of these. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd rather have a sketch. Collecting the foreign versions from back then are tough, especially from the South America books because of rusty staples. Outside of U.S. back in the day, they didn't have a board and bag culture. Yeah, exactly. Especially back then, in the late 70s. Hell no. Like even in America, I mean, they had bags, but they were kind of makeshift back then. They were nowhere near what we have now, or even in the 80s. But yeah, look at this. This is crazy here, man. Like there's a lot of these sketches here, but to continue on. So to tell my story real quick, Magic Lasso, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the comic book shop in Valencia, they hit me up and they were asking me, hey man, have you seen this? And I was like, no. And then a year later he bought it. So This is a Jim Lee Ghost variant, so this is definitely one of the rare ones. This is definitely one of the rare ones.
Hi, John.
And so here's one, but here's one. Have you heard about Batman Damned and the whole hoopla behind that?
Yes.
So here's Batwing. Here's another acrylic. Here we go. But this is a ghost variant, but this is not like super rare. You can find a couple of these around. But this is the uncorrected proof. So this is Batman Damned with no words. It's all Libra Mayo art. And there's a so this is the first real appearance of Batwing right here.
Yeah.
The first one. But what's funny, let's see. Do I have that here? Let me see if I have that here. It's here. There we go. See, he's looking at it. Right here, I convinced him to show me Batwing. This is Brian Azzarello himself. I was like, dude, I don't see it, man. I was like, did you guys do it just for the first release? Because I don't see it in the uncorrected proof, man. He was like, what? It's not, you don't see it? I'm like, dude, it's not there, man. You were scamming, man. He was like, dude, it's right there, man. So I got that on camera of him showing, and then here's Libra Mayo in Italy signing this book. And talking about Brian Azzarello pointing at Batwing. So here it is again, Mr. Batwing himself. And whose idea was it? Now that's the question of the day. Who? And I would say it was Libra Mayo. But yeah, there it is right there. Everybody, you wanted to see it, ask, and you shall receive. And so you got to see Batwing here. And that's probably like his third or fourth appearance here on this channel. But then, what about this? This, you talk about RRPs. This is a rare Superman. There's only one, or I think there's only one you can buy right now. There's only one. Have you seen this?
I want to say no, not that variant. Obviously, I know the image, but no, not that variant.
Yes, this is the RRP of that. So this was given away to retailers back in 2003. This is not for sale, for promotional use only.
Yeah.
And this is signed by Jim Lee, Scott Williams, Brian Azzarello, and the Commander of Color, Alex Sinclair.
Nice.
So there's that. Yeah, you've seen this. Yeah, I mean, you've seen this. Yeah, but this is like, for Superman Jim Lee fans, this is a highly sought after book. This is sought after, because there's the original one that of, Magic Lasso, that everybody wants, the classic, and then there's the Batman one. There's like two bookends, and then there's the Wonder Woman one. I'm pretty sure you have that one where she's in the middle. Yep. You have that cover?
Yep, I do.
I know Southern Comic Geek has all three, and he had them all signed by Jim Lee. He did that in Baltimore. I remember we did a show about that. But this started it all. So this predates all of those covers.
That's cool.
Right here. And then talk about giveaways. This book. How many people seen this? Detective Comics 1000 by Jim Lee. Wow. This is also signed by Jim Lee. In 2019, at San Diego Comic-Con, they were giving these away. But you have to sign up for DC Universe app. Did you have that, Magic Lasso? Remember that?
I do have that, yeah.
But you remember when it was a show where they had Young Justice and all that, where they had their own streaming service?
Yep.
Well, if you signed up in 2019 in San Diego for that app, you received this book. And then since then, a bunch of retailers got their hands on this. But this book is still listed about $200, $150 to $200. Cool.
Is there a color version of it, or is it just
it's just this? And this is a Jim Lee only piece, and he drew this on his Twitch for charity. That's cool. And then they turned it into a cover, and I think they just auctioned it off recently, the original to this. But yeah, this is it's as is. It has not been colored, and this is the way the book is. This is Jim Lee's most rare Detective Comics 1000 cover right here. He has about 3. But this is the most rare one. Oh, he has more than that. There's a bunch of torpedo ones. But this is the one that's the fewest in circulation right here.
Yeah.
And then you have Blackest Night. I don't know if you read Blackest Night.
Yeah, I have.
This is the most rare, is Blackest Night #1. There's the regular cover that's black or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then there's the 1 out of 200 sketch variant of this. But as you can see here, it says for promotional use only.
Yeah.
And so that's how you know it's one of those rare books that were given away. And we've been talking about giveaways pretty much for the past hour, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what so this book here is like, anywhere from $200 to $300, but I didn't pay for that. But as you can see, this is signed by Jeff Johns, Yvonne Reese, and the Gradient General, Alison Clare. So this Blackest Night, I believe, pound for pound, the best DC crossover, especially in modern times. And then last but not least, my copy of the Burbank Batman. And believe it or not, Magic Lasso, I won this. And so this is so of all the years that I struck out on everything in life, it got paid with this. Because and then this one is the only one that says Happy Batman Day. This was signed on Batman Day last year.
Love it.
In Baltimore. And we were with Jim Lee, me and the Signature King, and My Body Story. Yeah. We were all there, and Jeff Loeb signed it the same day. Jeff Loeb begged me. He begged me to get this slab. He said I should get this slab. And I was like, no, I'm not. Yeah. But guess what? It's in acrylic, guys.
Yep.
But guess what? I can open this and read it, but I don't want to read it. I read freaking Hush a bajillion times. I have like multiple graphic novels of Hush. So but I like the acrylic because I just like the frame. I don't like the whole number and judgy. Hey, I like to see the front and back, but I don't need all the color coding. I like Green Lantern, so I like all the different lantern colors, but I don't need to know about graded colors. Boo. But this here was one. And it's the only one. Yeah, it's the only one that has Happy Batman Day. And then this is going to New York. And then I'm going to have Scott Williams sign it. And then also the Houdini of Hugh, Alison Clare is going to sign it.
That's great.
So I'm bringing this in a couple months to New York, right? To New York. It's going to be great. So I think that's that. Yeah. So these are all what you would consider rare, like less than 1,000. I would say this is like maybe like in the 500 range. This is like in the 1,000 range. I would say these are like in the 500 range. I would say this is like in the 1,000 range. I would say this is the variable right now. Out of all the books we've seen, this is the variable. We really don't know how many there are because of it is a victim of the pandemic. It was during the pandemic when Cruising Through hit me up and asked me, have I seen this? And so a lot of things got lost in the shuffle. And think about it. This was given away at Six Flags. What's going on at Six Flags during the pandemic? Yeah, exactly. I believe that there's somewhere in Six Flags a whole box of these that nobody can get to.
That's forgotten about or whatever.
Yeah, and that's why it's a ghost.
Yep.
And so this to me is the ghostiest of all the Jim Lees, because you can't really put your thumb on it. You don't know how many there are. There are literally dozens. And most of the people that own them, I know who they are. I know who they are. And so this is the ghostiest, and like here we go. And this, like I said, this is like maybe the first or second one signed ever by Jim Lee, and he put a little thing on it. Yeah. And then the Sultan of Shade, Alison Clare, he signed it right there. So yeah, so I think that's this is the ghostiest of them all. Okay, man, we've been talking.
So I want to say something real quick before we wrap up, too.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you, maybe I'm out there in saying this, but I'm going to make my prediction that the next title that could have our next big ghost. Okay? You ready for this?
I'm waiting.
I think it's going to be the Batman Deadpool crossover. I think that we could see some 1 in 1,000s or more come out of that title.
Absolutely. And there's already a bunch of variants already being bubbling out there that we've been seeing.
And more to come.
And it's a huge crossover, two superstar art characters. So yeah, I could definitely see that, especially in the giveaway department, especially in that being in the right place, right time department. Oh, if you were here during this time, we only have so many copies here,
yeah,
and then that's the one. I think because New York, you know what's funny? New York Comic Con always has some kind of sexy variant that comes out of there that's not necessarily a retailer variant, but a giveaway, you know, wink, wink, nod, nod, here you go type thing. That's what I think. So I think you're right. And I think it's going to surround them on that book. And that book comes out, like soon, right? Like September?
Yeah, they're just starting to open up pre-orders on it. So, and another area that we didn't touch on too, that I think that it's been this way for a few years now, but I think it's going to increase, are movie theater comic book variants for superhero movies. You know, I think the popcorn buckets are going to stay and become bigger and more collectible like they are. But I also think that the exclusive comic books for the theatrical releases are going to keep going too.
Man, you got your predictions, man.
Those are my predictions.
Awesome. So we're moving on with our last topic here, and that's just the Sig Slayers updates. And to wrap things up, guys, want to let you guys know we have Dustin Nguyen next week. We're interviewing Dustin Nguyen.
Nice.
Fantastic artist, Detective Comics, Batman, Ascender, Descender, Robin and Batman, and the most recent one is Robin and Batman, Jason Todd.
Nice.
And he works with Jeff Lemire quite often. But Dustin Nguyen is one of the most down-to-earth people in all of comics. We have a great sit-down interview with him that will drop this Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I'm just going to go to my overlays real quick, going to our August schedule here. Last week of the month before we get into Sig Slayers 100. And so Magic Lasso.
Yeah.
100 episodes of Sig Slayers airs on September 4th.
Congratulations.
And yes, man, I'm so excited. All these interviews. We've been interviewing some of the best people in the game. I mean, we started this month with Mark Bagley, and it's the most viewed interview ever on the channel with over 6,000 views. And I'm just like, excited that people are finally catching on. But it doesn't stop there. Dustin Nguyen is this upcoming Thursday. And then this Tuesday, we have another animation by the great Doug Mahnke. Do you have any of Doug Mahnke comics that you do in Superman, Wonder Woman stuff?
Oh, yeah. For sure I do.
Era. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I looked up the stats, and we're going to talk about this in an upcoming show about records and who has written the most pages and drawn the most pages and all of that. Like, who are the most prolific people ever in comics? Mm-hmm. And Doug Mahnke, I believe, ranks, as far as DC, I think he ranks like number 11 of most pages drawn interior pages drawn in DC history. So that's pretty impressive. So we got, and now he's doing animations with your boy on Sig Slayers, and we're dropping a new animation this Tuesday. So check that out. David and I are cooking up new episodes of The Process. So you will see a new episode of The Process air in September. We're going to drop a Process promo next week. So we're gonna do that. But I definitely want cats to tune in to the Dustin Nguyen interview and check out the Mark Bagley if you haven't already. Mark Bagley, aka Bags, the most prolific Spider-Man artist in history, joined us, and he told us he had a good time. So check that out. What else is there I need to cover here? Oh, the other thing I want to say, Sig Slayers 100. We have special guest Magic Lasso as well. Yeah. So I'm going to let people know.
Okay.
We're going to have Jeremy Adams joining us live. Sig Slayers 100 is going to be live September 4th. So it's going to be a live broadcast.
Love it.
And we're going to have a museum curator from the only exhibit that features comic book art by pioneer African Americans, called Collections in Black, talking about stuff from the 1940s, all the way, like stuff that's forgotten. Talking about ghost covers. We're talking about ghost art that were uncovered. So he's going to be a guest panelist, but we have Jeremy Adams as a guest interview. Doug Mankey, we mentioned before, he's popping up for an interview, and the great Ken Lashley, wonderful Marvel artist. He will be sketching live.
Oh, that's even better. So
it's going to be great. And I don't know what he's sketching, but we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. Speaking of sketches, we're going to be talking more about our Sig Slayer sketch cards. We've been getting artists from all over the country to do sketch cards that we're going to be giving away to members on our channel, and we're going to talk about that more specifically on Sig Slayers 100 September 4th, and that's going to drop. That's going to be at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, and it's going to be great. And we're gonna have a great time. I'm gonna show people some old footage of some of our earlier episodes, also have a countdown. So I'm counting down my top 10 favorite signatures in my collection. I haven't stratified my collection ever. I did 20, and I cheated, and so I'm sticking to a solid 10. And so I've been looking at this stack for like 3 months, and I think I got it. So I'm going to also unveil, because the Claw, who commented earlier, asked me a while ago what was my top 10 signed book in my collection, and asking someone named a Sig Slayer that question, that's a difficult answer. So
sure.
But anyway, before we get out of here, I want to just say, man, it was such a blast having you on the show.
I had a great time, and I want to congratulate you on the success of your channel and all of the great things that you've been doing and are planning on doing too. I have no doubt that you're going to continue just to thrive, and it has been truly an honor to get to hang with you and spend some time with a great live chat too, and get to learn some stuff and share some stuff and see some stuff, and it truly was my pleasure. You've also been a guest on my channel before on the Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, which I appreciate. And there's always an open invitation for you to come back. We'd love to have you on again.
Well, I definitely want to come back. And I'm glad you brought that up. So I was going to say this now, that you were the first ever person to invite me on their channel. So you were the first person. Yeah, I was first ever invite on somebody's YouTube channel, Magic Lasso. So I want to
I want you back. Let's make that happen soon.
So we'll definitely make that happen after this.
Great.
So we're gonna schedule that, because I was thinking about that when I was talking to Signature King.
Yeah.
And when he mentioned last week how pumped that you got your Jenny Wonder Woman, and I was like, man, I gotta check out that video. And then once I heard the story, and you guys were at C2E2. I was there last year. I saw Jenny last year.
Okay.
And I didn't have no Wonder Woman or nothing, but I just had, a couple of her hits. She's a great artist.
Sure, yeah.
And so yeah, I was just happy just to see her and to find out that the books that I had 3 books and they were all free. So it was like,
yeah, that's even better.
I just won.
So,
I just won. Like, so
she's so awesome. So to me, she's just what you want in your creator experience when you meet one. That's the type of experience you want, is the type that you get when you go see her.
Absolutely. And so once I saw your video on how you acquired your Wonder Woman Burbank, I had to hit you up and be like, let's talk about this. And absolutely, the chat was on fire. Shout out to my man.
Awesome.
That was up in there, up in the chat, dropping science, man. I think that was the first time he joined the show. And then also Curgraded, man. These guys are, like I said, I talk about the Illuminati and stuff, and I kid. I'm saying it in jest, but these people, like 8th degree black belt collectors, that they just they don't realize that this is it's a talent that you cultivate over time, and it's not something that you could explain. You would sound like a jerk even explaining it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, it's either and that's what it means, a part of the game. But for me, with the Burbank, and this is what I didn't get a chance to say that. With the Burbank, I felt that same way that you did. And I was seeing mofos, particularly Curgraded and My Body Story. Those guys win them over and over and over, rubbing them in my faces. They know I live in LA and I'm from that area, and I wanted that badly. And I'm a big Jim Lee and Batman fan. And these dudes are getting multiples, right?
I think my friends were just happy that I got one, so they didn't have to hear about me not having one anymore. So I think that was as much of a treat for them as it was for me.
That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
So when I listened, I did all that. Like, I spammed to the point where freaking Instagram, maybe I couldn't comment anymore.
I know. I've been there.
Yeah, man, and I was just like, damn, okay, well, let's see what happens.
But just remember, some things are meant to be.
Yeah, man, and that's a good way to end it. I do want to give you the last word. Tell them how they can find you once again, and anything else you want them to know about your channel.
Great. So on YouTube, Magic Lasso, and thank you again, Mike, for linking that in the description for this video. I do a little short each Monday called the Back Issue of the Week, where I just pick a comic book out of my collection, just talk about what goes on in that story. I usually do a comic book additions video, and that I'm talking about back issues or sometimes ratio incentives that I've added into my collection. And very Bronze Age heavy on that. So that's usually a Tuesday afternoon video. Then I have Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, featuring Signature King, myself. We have Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe, and we try to get a lot of special guests. So we review and talk about DC Comic current news, and then an old DC Comic story. That's Sunday nights, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central. I am so thankful and appreciative of all the friendships that I've made in this community already, the ones I'm making now and the ones that I'll make in the future. And thank you, Mike, for having me on your show. It truly was a pleasure.
Thank you again, Magic Lasso. And guys, every Friday we'll be here on. Wait a minute, I got one more thing. I totally forgot. I forgot. Your boy's going to be making his first appearance at a Comic-Con. We're going to be having a booth. How did I forget? So Memphis Comic Expo, the Sig Slayer will have a booth doing live interviews. Kevin freaking Eastman, so many other comic book creators, as not to mention voice actors, it'll be popping at the Sig Slayer booth all weekend long, September 13th to 14th. So if you're in the Mid-South, come holler at your boy. We'll be with the left-handed assassin, David Barron. He'll be there as well with his own table. But like I said, we'll be having interviews all night. We'll be giving away some of these sketches before anyone. So the only time you will be giving away the sketches before our initial release was in San Diego. And then at this show on our table, you'll be the first people to get these. And these Sig Slayer cards will be published cards, published original art. So Just letting you guys know that. But yes, it's going to be popping here, guys. We're going to be interviewing all week, everybody at the show, and it's the first ever invitation of the Sig Slayer Station at a Comic-Con. And so this is history here, September 13th to 14th. I can't believe I almost got out of here without mentioning this. Pull up. Now we can roll out of here, guys.
Awesome.
We can roll out. Guys, check us out on the Sig Slayer Station and Magic Lasso on YouTube every day. Just pop in. Click that notification bell to see what we're doing. We are out, guys.
Bye.
Peace.